Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. It's Monday, November 6th, 2023, Mentor Monday. And gosh, can you believe we're already into the last 2 months of the year? So much has been, this has been just a fantastic year. Welcome everyone. I see some new names in the room today, and we'll have a chance to let you chat and introduce yourselves. But put your name in the chat if it's your first time with us and where you're from, just so we know where you're from. But I have the pleasure of introducing my great friend and my personal mentor and good friend, Mr. Dave Daughtrey. I met Dave in 2015 when somebody told me I needed to look at something. And we've been great friends ever since. Gabby and Judy and Dave and I we have great times together, both professionally and personally. We get together, we have like some great meals, and I can't wait to see you guys in Salt Lake again in April 2024. But let's turn on Dave. I know you've got a full day ahead, and I think you're getting ready to leave the country again here this week. But I'll turn this over to you, Dave, and I know you have a full schedule and a full bunch of information for us, as you always do. Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you, J. Michael, and thank you everybody for joining in today. Those of you that are new, my name is Dave Daughtrey. I've been with For Life now. I'm in my 26th year and going strong, having fun, building, working, traveling. Spent last month in Brazil and in Singapore, Malaysia, leaving for Costa Rica tomorrow, and that's it for the rest of the year. But what I want to do today is I want to focus on us, you, me, us. I did or we did, a number of us, we were on the Ponte la Camiseta. I speak fluent Spanish, by the way. And a bit of Portuguese. And we did our Saturday event in Spanish for the Latin market. And we had, what, Claudia, 19 countries on there? Something like that. And it's always fun. We do it once a month, and we need to get to do that. We need to get to where we're doing that in the English with English groups as well. But I decided, in listening to people and talking with people, I wanted to focus on us, and I had mentioned that on the Saturday event. And one of the things I love about this business, if you let it, if you allow it, it can become the world's greatest personal development course there is. Because so many reasons, I can just go on and on and on, but one of them is that you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. Most people that start traditional businesses have to figure things out by themselves. And the other is, when you're around people, like-minded people, you learn from them. Well, the more you learn, the more knowledge you gain. And a phrase that I guess I kind of came up with a long, long time ago. I heard somebody say, when you're smart, when you have some knowledge, it makes you more confident. And I thought, that's true. Knowledge creates confidence. Confidence should create action. People are more willing to talk about something that they know something about, as opposed to something they know nothing about. All right. So knowledge creates confidence. Confidence creates action. What does action create? Results. At the end of the day, if you ask anybody, who here would like to be a millionaire? Who here would like to have residual income to the point you never have to worry about money anymore? Pretty much everyone would probably raise their hand. All right. Well, that only happens by action. It doesn't happen just sitting around doing nothing. All right. So there's a process to all of this. And the little story here is kind of funny. When Gabby and I were in Malaysia, just last week, I guess it was a week before last, our son Brandon, somehow he found our mini DV tapes, the digital video, the camcorder ones, they're still analog. And he happened to get into them and was trying to figure out how he could take those and turn them into digital, put them on, like on a Mac or on a server so that anybody could watch them. We haven't opened up those things for probably 15 to 20 years. And he started digging through them, and he found one of Ryan, our 21-year-old, being born. This was in the day where you could film it. I have a camcorder filming Ryan being born, literally, and it's funny because the doctor is bringing our baby into the world. Guess what I'm talking about? Transfer factor. I'm telling the doctor that it's an immune system modulator, and our babies are going to be taking it. And Brandon, he was watching this and he's laughing. His dad, don't you ever stop talking about for life and transfer factor? And when I look back at it, I don't think I'm crazy. I'm not a lunatic in any way, but I am passionate about it because when you have knowledge about something, you feel very confident. And here I was talking to Dr. Goki. He gave birth to both Brandon and Ryan, or he brought them into the world. But the point is that I was very confident in sharing with this OBGYN. And so I want all of us to be that confident. And that's what's enabled me. And I may be bragging here, but I just want to make a little bit of a point. My organization, as small as we are here, there's 25 of us, but my organization's been paid over 2.4 billion, not million, billion with a B, dollars in over 25 years. Over 210 to be exact, are multimillionaires, made well over $1 million because of For Life. Well, honestly, that's a small percentage. 210 sounds wonderful. Okay. My attitude, my philosophy is I climb the mountain of success with people that want to go up. As soon as we've got golds and platinums in this group here, I go back down the mountain and find others, you know, and that's just the way I built my business. So, all of these millionaires that I've helped work with over the years honestly don't need me anymore. And it's wonderful. That's called duplication. So, how do you do that? What's the process of all this? So, if you're brand new, I applaud you for joining in. And I just want you to understand that, like anything that you learn, anything that you want to be successful at, there's a process to it. There's a process to growing, developing. All right. And I want to kind of go through that today and discuss you and me, do a little bit of storytelling, because what I can relate to the most is my experiences. And when I joined For Life, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about transfer factor. I knew nothing about For Life. But one thing I did know, I had a burning desire to succeed. I had a desire. Gabby was my girlfriend. We were dating. She had two children from a previous marriage. I had a daughter from a previous marriage, and we wanted to be together. And I had nothing to offer. She had a house. She had two houses. She was renting a house, and she had another house. She had a car. I had no car. I was starting life all over again. Now, I had been successful before. I knew a bit about networking. I'd been around people, around millionaires, learned from people. I was mentored by people. So I had some skills. Many of you here today have great skills from your previous experiences. You bring those to the table. Others, all right, you might be developing some skills for the first time because of For Life. What do I mean by that? Social skills, communication skills, the ability to identify someone and present to them and know what their needs are. All right, addressing that individual's specific needs, whether it's making money, maybe they're broke, maybe they need opportunity, maybe they've got a health challenge, a crisis in life, and they're looking for something to help them overcome their physical challenge, whatever it may be. That's a talent as well. It's a skill to identify with people. And then there's the leadership part. A lot of people have never had a leadership role in their life. They've had jobs. They've been told what to do. You get up in the morning, get cleaned up, have your breakfast, get in the car, turn it on, head to work, do whatever your job description is, leave at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and go home, cook dinner. It's just routine after it's just everything's a daily routine. And you've never really taken on a leadership role. All right. That's a skill as well that's developed. So when I meet people, and a case in point here, Jillian, when I met Jillian, it was obvious, and Claudia had already told me about Jillian being a strong leader. Well, when you meet Jillian, you know right away that she has experience. She comes from a background that I find quite interesting, Jillian, because you're more structured than me. Actually, you're a structured person. Yet you're also you're an innovator. You're a thinker. And you kind of begin with the end in mind, which is one of Stephen Covey's 7 habits of highly effective people. So Over my course of 42 years of networking, I've met a lot of people, all walks of life, presidents of countries, movie stars, famous singers, and the person that works a 9 to 5 job that has never done anything else ever. All right. And it doesn't matter. Here's what matters again. I'll take someone with desire over experience any day. You don't know how many people I meet that talk about what they did in the past. All right. How successful they were at this or that. It's wonderful. I applaud everyone that's successful. But the question is, are you ready now to do something? Can you repeat that? Can you dig in, develop the necessary knowledge to get confident and go through this cycle, this process of achieving your dreams, whatever they are, your goals, your dreams? And so let's get into the process a little bit. I applaud all of you that have joined. You've signed up with For Life. Now what? Well, this is marketing. Things have changed since I joined For Life. When I joined For Life, we were going through a bit of a phase where long distance phone calling was starting to get a lot less expensive. It was still 10 cents a minute when I joined back in 1998. The dime deal, they called it. So networking back then was more localized, meaning that, okay, I couldn't rack up $1,000 phone bills, so I worked more locally, trying to talk to people. Well, unfortunately, when I joined For Life, I was living in an area of the country, El Centro, California, which, by the way, the Imperial County, it was the highest county of welfare recipients in the United States of America. Number one, Imperial County. Everyone's on welfare. No one has money. So the telephone, and I didn't have a car, but the telephone became my number one tool. Then when I could go out and do meetings, because I love live meetings, there's no substitute. I mean, if we look right now, how many people have their cameras on and off? All right. I mean, you wouldn't go to church and do this, would you? Nobody can see me. You wouldn't do that. All right. And live meetings, people will pay more attention because they're there. There's energy in the room. They can feel the energy, and I feed off the energy when I'm doing live meetings. So Gabby and I would travel up to Los Angeles. We'd go to San Diego. Whenever we could do a live meeting, we would. But the telephone was my number one tool. It was not easy, I'll be honest. Calling people, even cold calling people, I would say, Jillian, you know people I don't know. Are you willing to invite them to the table? Your people, my presentation. Claudia, you know people I don't know. Would you just bring some to the table? Your people, my presentation. If nobody would bring anybody to the table, I'd have to go find somebody that would. I was always, rule number one, I was always asking for referrals. So in my process of achieving platinum and having received $2.4 billion in my team, I always ask for referrals, always. Siobhan, do you know anybody that might be interested in making some extra money? Do you know anybody that, is into health and wellness? Do anybody has a health crisis? They'd like to learn a little bit about something new called Transfer Factor? J. Michael, Erica, Diana, Ruth, everybody knows somebody new. All right. The question is, are they willing to bring to the table? Let me take that back. I don't mean somebody new. Everybody knew somebody I didn't know. All right. Are you willing to bring to the table? I found one person that was willing to do that. His name was Jeff Outgilbers. Jeff signed up. It took me a bit of work to get him signed up. At first, it was like he's hem-hawing around, didn't know what to do, blah, 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 always painting the house, watering the garden. Finally, I got him signed up. First thing I said, Jeff, you know people I don't know. I have prepared my message. You're just getting started. Try me. Bring some people to the table and let me deliver the message. So I always asked for referrals. Now, the question is, you get a referral, somebody comes to the table. If you're going to present to them, what are you going to say? What do you do? That's what's extremely important. The next thing is the knowledge portion only comes from taking the time to do some homework, a little bit of research, a little bit of studying, learn about your product transfer factor. What is transfer factor? Where does it come from? What are the benefits of it? All right. Does it have a shelf life? What does it do? All those things are so important, you guys. How many of you right now, if I said I have a brand new guest that's going to join us in 5 minutes and I need you to present, could you do it? Could you give the presentation? If not, the question is why? Why not? Now, if you say, well, Dave, I just got invited here today, I know nothing about this. I understand. This is Mentor Monday, though. This is not an opportunity presentation. This is meant for those that are actually signed up to help get started, get going, understanding the process, being motivated, being inspired. All right. That's what Mentor Monday is all about. So, my question to everybody here, because this is about you, are you ready to present? Are you ready? If someone asked you about your product, your company, what do you do for a living? Are you ready to tell them? And if not, when will you be ready? How about maybe tomorrow? Take the time today, practice, go through your mind, do a presentation, give a presentation to your cat, to your dog, to your hamster, or your spouse. Practice on your kids, practice with somebody. I practiced in the mirror. I practiced when I was driving my car, when I got my first car before it was totaled. I practiced. All right. So you have to get good at your messaging. Do we have videos? Yes, we have videos. We have in the For Life app, there's a lot of content. In Facebook groups, there's a lot of content. Even these Zooms that get recorded, there's a lot of content. But what does it do for you? If we took all that stuff away, what can you share from your mouth to somebody? I encourage you, all of you, get good at your messaging, because there's no substitute for a connection when you meet somebody. All right. When you meet somebody for the first time and you connect with them, you tell them what you do, you inspire them, there's no substitute for that. In fact, if I ask you all right now, how many of you are here because you answered an ad, you answered a Facebook message? You're here because someone invited you, somebody, and chances are someone you know, not somebody called you cold. You know them. So you're messaging. All right. You've got to prepare your message. Use the videos, use the content that we have, or the content we're going to be creating. Share that with people, because it can inspire people, and you might actually attract someone that wants to know, hey, that's interesting. I'd like to know more about it. But still, at some point in time, you're going to have to talk to them. All right. You cannot build a network just by using AI. All right. That you have to be able to connect with people. Again, referrals. The one thing I did constantly, I was on the phone 8 to faint every day. And I know not everybody's can do that, because many of you have other responsibilities in life, jobs and family and so forth. But whatever time you carve out for your business, you need to make the most important time of that your productive time. And it's either going to be talking to new people or following up with people that you talked to before, or maybe presenting to the people that have said, you know what, I can talk to you at 2 o'clock. I can talk to you at 4 o'clock. And you've got your schedule, you've got your calendar. How many of you have a calendar? I hope you do. I mean, I would die if I didn't have my calendar. Well, Claudia helps me. Gabby helps me. No, but the point is, I live, by my calendar. I've got calls. I'm busy. I've got follow-ups. I got my guy in Mexico. He just did an expo over the weekend. I've got to follow up with him today. He came in with the Fast Start program, 400 life points. Want to see how he did at the expo. So your days get busy and busy and busy. So again, this is about you. Are you busy? How busy are you? All right. Are people calling you back? If not, why not? Are you not inspiring to them? If not, why not? All right. Your energy. Okay. When I start talking to people, not everybody was interested. I got a lot of no's. It didn't matter. I was just looking for the people that were ready. In fact, I would much rather work with people that are ready than those that are not ready. It's easier to give birth and raise the dead, honestly. So I would continuously look for people that were ready. So in my process, which again is easiest for me to relate to, I sponsored Jeff Altgilbert. Took me a couple of months. I sold some bottles, sold some product to people. Grandma bought a bottle, my dad bought a bottle, my mom bought a bottle. I had family members that supported me. They wanted to try the product. It was great. Finally, I get Jeff Altgilbert's going 1999, January. So I joined in October of 98. Jeff starts bringing people to the table. Hallelujah. Got someone now that wants to build a business with me. Got a partner. So now I start working with Jeff, looking for someone else. Find me another one. Find me another one. But here's what you do. How many of you are driving a downline? Part of the process, if you want to build a network, okay, you have to declare yourself. Have you declared yourself? What do I mean by declare yourself? You declare yourself by your willingness to do things other people are not willing to do. What is it that the successful people do? What is it that the millionaires do? What is it that the billionaires do? If you do what they do, guess what? You will get the same results. What is it they do? Well, in this business, it's driving a downline, driving an organization. What I mean by that is this. When you declare yourself a leader, you're willing to present, you're willing to step up, you're willing to show people who you are. And I understand for some people, it's a difficult thing because it's like, well, I've never been a leader before. I've never declared myself before. Well, now it's time. All right. It's time. There's no reason to be afraid of anybody. So you declare yourself. Now, guess what happens? As I said earlier, this is the world's greatest personal development course there is. You're going to change. I love change. I love watching people develop and grow. Does everybody develop and grow? No. I got people that use our products, they love our products, and that's it. They're consumers, the customers, wonderful. And then I see people, that grow a little bit, but I see people that transform their lives. And some of you know some of them. One that I think a lot of people know of is Juan Rosado. Never made it through high school, dropped out when he was a sophomore. It was what would that be? 16 years old. That's it. Never went to high school. Worked in a parking lot, just $5 an hour, looking over automobiles, cars. Tried network marketing in the past, failed at it. Didn't succeed at anything. Here he is today. He's made $100 million in For Life. Not bad for a guy that's never made it through high school. He's got a huge organization all over the world. All right. Proud to have him as part of my organization. How did he do it? Desire and willingness to go through the process and embrace change, no matter how painful the change may be. If all of us had to, right now, if we said we're finishing this call right now, pick up the phone and call somebody. Would you do it? The ones that are willing to do it are the ones that grow and develop. It's that simple, you guys. It's not difficult. All right. You have to be willing to do what other people are not willing to do. Now, part of this change, by the way, is embracing things that might actually even change your personality. Many of you didn't know me when I was a kid. I was the shyest, quietest, most timid, most highly intimidated child you would know. I was scared of a snowflake, honestly, when I was growing up. That's how bad it was. And my brother was just the opposite. My brother Dan was an athlete, big brute. He beat people up. I mean, my gosh, when he was in elementary school, he got suspended from school for beating a kid up. I mean, he was just the opposite of me. And maybe that's why I was so highly intimidated, was because of my brother. But at some point in time, I came out of my shell. Well, guess when that really happened? Network marketing. When I went to a meeting at 21 years old and I listened to people tell me about how they succeeded, watching them drive their Mercedes. One of the guys had a Ferrari, and yeah, sure, most 21-year-olds are motivated by nice, fast cars. But what inspired me was where they came from. None of these people were born into it. They created it. They developed it. They went through this process to become who they became. And when one of them told me, he said, hey, how'd you like to learn to get paid for what you start? Start something and continue to get paid for that. Most people get paid for just what they do. They go do a job. You know, they're on a fixed income. Wouldn't you like to have a residual income where you go to bed at night, you're still making money? And I said, yeah. Now, my naivete, my ignorance, maybe at the time, was in my favor as 21 years old, but that changed my life. And then all the things I went through, like the time I almost peed my pants when I had to give my first presentation in front of a live audience in a hotel room. All right. I was scared to death, but I did it. All of a sudden, I realized I can present. People actually like it when I present. Then I learned how to interact with people, learn how to motivate and inspire people. So that's part of declaring yourself. Now, here's what happens. You start sponsoring someone here and there. You sign someone up. They buy some products. They start using the products. They love the products. You're starting to build a network. Understand, the person that you sponsor, chances are they're not going to be your future platinum. You want them to be, you hope that, you pray that they are, but many times it's somebody below that person or below that person or below that person. And if you don't take the time to identify who that is down there, you may lose them because they just need some attention. They need some support. They need some motivation, inspiration, somebody to help guide them along to get started. And sometimes it's really just someone that can give them a push and get them going. And that's what I did with Jeff. You know, Jeff didn't need me for a long time. You know, I would honestly say one of the times that Jeff probably needed us the most was when he was going through his divorce. A couple of years after being in the business, he went through some very difficult times and he was needed friendship. And Gabby and I flew out there to where he was in South Carolina. I even got him out of the country. I said, look, let's get you over in Asia, get you working because we were opening up Korea, you know. And then there's others I started working with in my downline. The point is, your business is like the roots of a tree. The deeper you build it, the more solid it is. So I would encourage you, number 3, work your downline. Talk to your people's people. And guess what that's going to do? You're going to become a little bit more busier now. Because now what are you doing? You're looking for new people, talking to people for yourself. You're following up with the people that you've talked to in the past already. You've got a system going. You know, I just finally today, you guys, this morning, about 2 hours ago, I took my stack of notepads that always been sitting on the floor beside me here. I've been showing everybody for the last year. I show everyone my system, you know, just a stack of yellow pads. I wrote everything down in 1998, 1999, 2000. I think I started using a cell phone in probably 2001, 2002. Trio. I don't know if you guys remember the Trio. But anyhow, uh, my system was writing everything down so I could follow up. You know how many times people get called and they might even get a presentation and nobody follows up with them? You've got to have a system to follow up with your people. So you're talking to new people, you're following up with people, and now you're talking to your people's people. Case in point, how many of you are here today that I sponsored? If I am your sponsor, raise your hand. Not a one. I spend 99% of my time, 99.9% of my time talking to my people's people than I do the people that I've sponsored. All right. People I've sponsored are platinum or they're off doing, or they're retired. I've got some that have retired. You know, I've got a whole team of vets, veterinarians. They're all in their 80s now. They joined 4Life when they were in their 60s, 25 years ago. You know, they were in their late 50s and early 60s. Now they're in their 80s. So the point is this: busy. Again, this is about you. Are you busy? Are you talking to new people? Are you talking to people's people? Are you following up? Are you helping your downline follow up? Now, that's an area I try to, you know, I work at, you know, and maybe I need to get better at it. But when I talk to people, and so And after meeting them one time, a week or two goes by and I forget the name. And then, I'll say, how's, remember that person that we talked to? I'll mention about the presentation, jog their memories. Oh yeah, that's Steve. How's Steve? But I try to help my people with their follow-up as much as I can. So my question to you is, how busy are you? How busy do you want to be? The busier you are, the more successful you'll be. That's all part of the process, and that's kind of common sense. All right. So, are you being busy? Are you growing? Are you developing? Now let's talk about some new things. When I started, the telephone was the tool. I still love the telephone, make calls and talk to people on the phone and whatnot. Only difference now, it's wearing your AirPods. You don't have to hold it to your ear anymore. So, but aside from that, what about the hands off way of marketing? Social media, just sending people things through email, sending people things, or posting a Facebook post or YouTube or whatever. All right. Let me ask you this. How inspired are you when you go online and start browsing around? I find some things entertaining, especially animal stuff. Or watching some of the animal stuff I see on Facebook, get a kick out of the animals, that do some of the crazy things they do. But when it comes to business, I rarely get inspired. And I do some browsing and whatnot. So you're going to inspire more people by having a hands-on business than a hands-off business. So what's the benefit of this social media? What's the benefit of the Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and all that? I think one of the greatest benefits, all right, you can build a community with it, all right, but you have to attract people to your community. Now, throwing things out there in cyberspace, I'll never say it can't work. There are people that have made millions that become influencers, YouTubers, and whatnot. But ask them how busy they were creating posts, putting things out there, day after day after day after day after day after day, new content, new things. So I would say do both. Use your voice, inspiration to get people to come to the table, and use the social media to keep them at the table, keep them connected, build that community, build that space where people feel a sense of belonging. And that's the one thing about For Life that I will say. When you talk to For Lifers that have been around for years and years and years and years, they love For Life because of the family they feel. This is a culture that was created by David and Bianca Lisenby. When you look at all of the service projects they've done around the world, the distributors they've taken with them to build houses, farms, orphanages, schools, where distributors participated, but it was funded by the Foundation for Life. Causes. People like to feel they're part of a cause, part of a community, part of a family. So the whole, internet world is really good. The other thing it's really good at, and this is what I'm working on with Upline Pro, is educating. If somebody really wants to learn, you can put all kinds of great content, information to help people learn. But I'll tell you what, knowledge is one thing, action is another. I know a lot of people that get caught up in analysis paralysis. They'll spend days and weeks. They are geniuses when it comes to understanding the pay plan, transfer factor, For Life. They know everything, but they've never declared themselves to get out there and take action. All right. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to the action, you guys. So Upline Pro, we'll talk about that for a minute here. It's going to begin really being an educational space for people to go. You've got your CRM right here. What's a CRM? Contact Relationship Manager, your For Life app, and that's probably a training we have to get into now with our new people. But you can use that app and swipe, go hit on contacts inside the app, import your contacts, and you can swipe interested, not interested, customer, affiliate. You can categorize all your people, and you can go back and recategorize them, change them around. You know, the app remembers what you did. Send a link here, send a video there, send someone to my shop. It remembers all that. So you go back, it helps you follow up. Well, yes, I forgot I sent this person a link. Follow up with them. It all comes down to taking action. At the same time, knowledge is what hopefully helps everyone get out there and want to take more action. And that's what Upline Pro is really going to be all about to begin with. It's basically going to be a platform, an educational platform to start with, kind of like Netflix with different series about different topics, concepts within network marketing. So preparation, always asking, always get in the habit, develop good habits. Ask people, do you know anyone that would like to make some extra money? Do you know anyone? I'm telling you guys, talking about extra money, as we go through the next 5 years, more and more people are going to be in financial crisis. This is an option. Show them this option. Be prepared to tell them about this wonderful option to build their own business right from home. Don't have to invest a lot of money. All the great benefits. Right now, if I said, if I picked any one of you and said, can you give me the benefits of this business model? What are the benefits? Yeah, working from home is one of them. Residual income is another one. Earn while you learn is another one. Multinational business is another one. Having all the tools in your cell phone. There's all kinds of benefits. If you know all those by heart and you're talking to someone, you can pop them off right away. And hopefully that person will be a bit inspired and say, wow, that sounds interesting. And they'll want to know more. All right. So your knowledge creates confidence. Confidence creates action. You're talking to people. You're always asking for referrals. You're asking if they know anyone that would be interested in making money, or anyone that's in health and wellness. Do you know anyone that goes to GNC all the time? You know anyone that takes their vitamins every day? I want to show them something new. Always ask. You never know who knows who. That's networking. And by the way, when you guys were kids, did you ever do scavenger hunts? I did a scavenger hunt when I was a kid. Birthdays, always a birthday. You get a list, you got to go knock on doors and ask, did you have a paper clip? Do you have a clothespin? Do you have a pencil? Do you have an eraser? You had a list of stuff. And whoever filled out the list first would run back home, right back to base, and you won the prize. I look at this the same way. We're all scavenger hunting, all of us, even me. I'm always scouting, looking for new people. Do you know anyone that's interested in this? Do you know anyone that's interested in this? Right? And then comes the leadership part, you guys. And this is where I hope Upline Pro helps everybody. I love building leaders. I love building people that become very confident in what they're doing. I've seen people that are quiet, timid, shy people like I was, all of a sudden become just these incredible motivational speakers and trainers and presenters. They inspire, they educate, and that's, for me, that's the thrill I get. At the end of the day, the thrill I get is watching people change. Right? I look for them constantly. One of them I can say that many of you might know is Anderson Karpus. Do you guys know Anderson? How many of you know Anderson? All right. J. Michael, JT, Cloudy, Anderson. All right. I watched him go from basically knowing nothing about this business, nothing about networking, struggling. COVID came. He wasn't making any money. He was really, he's got 3 kids. They're really struggling. Now he's pushing 200,000 a month in volume for life. He's pushing gold volume. He's getting to where his volume is getting close to being gold volume. So, but it didn't happen by him just sitting around. Now I'll say this, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll open it up actually for any questions. There's kind of a rule of thumb in this business. When you sponsor someone and you don't hear from them, it's for one of 2 reasons. If you're busy working and you're leading by example and you just don't hear from your people, A, they're so busy on the phone building their business, they just don't have time to talk to you. Or B, it's out of sight, out of mind. They're off doing something else. Their mind's just not on this business. It's not on For Life. part of being a good sponsor, good upline, is keeping your people in the lane, keeping them focused and moving ahead. Now, you can't force somebody. So when I don't hear from people, I immediately ask myself, why? Generally, it's because this is out of their mind. They're not thinking about it. But in the case of Anderson, he did message me this morning. He said, "Hey, Dave, good morning. How are you doing?" It's because he's so busy now with his downline. They're keeping him busy. He's declared himself. So now he just doesn't have a whole lot of time to spend with me because he's got bronzes and presidential elites, and he's built what, 35 diamonds now? In the 30s, 33, 35, eight or nine or 10 presidentials, I think, now in his downline. He's a busy guy. Well, it took 3 years to get him that way, 3.5, which is great. No doubt he'll be a platinum. I have no doubt. So we're all looking for people like that. They're out there. All right. I've found a number of them, but the only way you're going to find them is if you're willing to go scouting. All right. So having said that, again, this is about you today. All right. What are you doing? Where do you see yourself in January of 2024 between now and then? Do you want to grow at all? What are you going to do to grow? Add one more person to your team, maybe add 5 to your team, maybe sell some product, make some money too. Where do you see yourself at the end of 2024? And we'll be talking about that in January. What are your goals for 2024? Where do you want to be by the end of the year? What are you going to do to get there? Are you willing to embrace the changes? Are you willing to pay the price to do what other people are not willing to do to get there? Hopefully you are, because that's what inspires people. Leading by example. When people see you doing things that others aren't doing, it becomes inspirational, especially when you start having some documentation. Documentation beats conversation. They see you all of a sudden. Maybe you're at a convention. Maybe you're on a trip. Maybe you inspire people because you're so busy building your business, and they look at you and they say, wow, you're tenacious. You just keep on going. And by the way, that's what happened to one of my friends. He came to my apartment one day and said, Dave, I can't believe it. Every time I come here talking to people about this For Life stuff. Yeah, it's my business. It's what I do. It's what I'm going to get paid for. And he was inspired by that. And he joined. Many of you may not have known Hector, but he lives out in Arizona. But yeah, he joined For Life. So anyhow, hopefully you all have your goals. Hopefully you all have your vision where you want to be. We love you. Gabby and I are very blessed to have you all as part of our team, part of our organization. We want you to achieve your dreams, whatever they are. And that's what we're here to do, is to serve and to help you. So with that, the last few minutes, I'd like to open it up. Does anybody at all have any questions, especially if you're new, about the building process? This is not an opportunity meeting. Hopefully you had an opportunity meeting where somebody went through the company, product, how to make money, and even educated you on how to use the cell phone app, how to even go to forlife.com, get logged in, get your account set up, and all those things. But does anybody have any questions about anything at all for me? I hope I've been able to share some information with you all today to at least drive you, inspire you to want to get out and build your network. Use your skills, use social media, use it all, and show people, light up and show them who you are. So, J. Michael, I will pass it back to you, my friend.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. Always appreciate it. Well, everybody, it's been a great another Monday. We're here every single Monday and the same time as it was today. And I encourage you to go look at Dave's calendar, davedaughtry.com/calendar, or just click up at the links. And you'll see all these meetings on there, as well as the Spanish meetings, the Portuguese meetings, and the English meetings. It's all broken down by language. Don't forget, tonight is Girl Talk, and that's been added, I noticed, to Dave's calendar. So links in there. And that's with Jillian and Gabby and Claudia, and the girls get together every Monday night and talk about a host of subjects. Tomorrow, Health Talk Tuesday. Dr. Gina's got a great lineup of subjects. We've got 4 Tuesdays left this month, and he's got a great lineup. I think tomorrow's respiratory health. And that's, by the way, one of our products featured this month in North America is lung. and it's a great product. I'm sure he'll bring up and talk a little bit about that tomorrow. But guys, it's been a great having you here today. I'm going to turn the recording off if I can figure out how to do that with this new dashboard down here. Hold on just a second.